There's no contest here. This is by far the better experience. Welcome to this very special episode of Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight I'm celebrating 100 episodes. So, as you know, I started this channel a little under 2 years ago, so in January 2023, and my goal was to get to 100 episodes in 2 years. I'm a little bit early, about 2 months early, but I'm glad that I get to celebrate this milestone with a very special whiskey, the Birthday Bourbon 2024. So this is actually not my bottle. A very good friend of mine won this in this year's sweepstakes, and he was very kind to let me open it and review it for my 100th episode. So, good friend, you know who you are. You don't want to be named, but I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, future Sam here to set the record straight on something. Last week, when I introduced the Maker's Mark Lost recipe, I forgot to mention that it was actually courtesy of a lady called Alex Smith in San Diego who helped me acquire this. So a lot of times when bottles come to California, they go to Southern California first before they make their way out to Northern California. So when this bottle first came out, I really wanted to try it because it had really good reviews. And AJ offered to ask Alex to buy it from Costco in San Diego and get it to us. So she went through all this trouble to get us this bottle, and I forgot to give her the shout out. So here's your shout out, Alex. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Generally, I think a lot of times I have bottles that I use on episodes that are either borrowed or lent to me or acquired in a way that I wouldn't have been able to get by myself. So if I've ever forgotten anyone else, I'm really sorry about that. I really appreciate all the friends and the supporters and the network that I have that helped me acquire these bottles, either just to borrow and the review or to buy at MSRP. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone and thank you so much. Yeah, thanks again, Alex, and thank you, AJ. And yeah, let's get on with the episode now. All right, so what is the birthday bourbon, first of all? I guess the birthday bourbon, as it says in here, is an annual release expression of highly acclaimed bourbon to celebrate September 2nd birthday of its creator, George Garvin Brown. And that is Mr. Garvin Brown. His picture is right there. Yeah, so this is a very allocated bottle. It's extremely hard to come by. I think the MSRP on it is under $200 at around the $180 mark. But yeah, in the secondary market, it sells for like $700, $800. So it's quite an expensive whiskey, and I feel very privileged to be able to try it tonight. So this year's, and I don't know if this is like every year, but I believe every year this is different. And this year it is a 12-year bourbon. So it was bottled in 2010. 2012, yes. We are in 2024, which means it was bottled in 2012. That makes it 12 years old. And I thought, as you know, I like doing blinds and comparisons. So my current affordable Old Forester is the Old Forester 1924, which is a 10-year-old release that came out this year. This one, I think the MSRP on it is in the order of $130, $135. I think when it first came out, people were trying to flip these for more like $250, $300, but I see it now readily available for under 200 for sure. Maybe if you are lucky and get it on MSRP when it first drops, but it is a more limited release, so it's not always available on shelf. And I thought, what better way to compare it to something that is close in ABV, because I do have a few single barrel proof bourbons. When they were rare, I was hunting them, so I have 4 or 5 of them. But the recent all the rage around Old Forester seems to be these single barrel 100 proofs, and this one is a pick by Total Wine, and it was from Warehouse I, Floor 3. So you will probably notice that depending on the warehouse on the floor, there are different profiles. And I is, from what I remember from memory, was one of the good ones. And this, I believe the MSRP on it is in the order of $45, $46. And on Wine Bottle Shop recently had multiple drops of this, so I managed to pick up this bottle, and I haven't tried it yet. You can see that it's gone a little bit, but that's just because I took some samples out of it. So except for 1924, actually, the other two bourbons here for me are new. So it's going to be interesting to know if I can, anchor on this and somehow guess which one's the best. Hopefully, this is much better than the other two, and justifies its rarity and price point. All right, without further ado, I've already pre-poured these, so I'm just gonna put the caps on. Number one on the birthday bourbon, number two on the 1924, and number three on the single barrel 100 proof. We'll do some minor shuffling here and then put them on. All right, so as usual, I will nose these first, give you some nosing notes, then taste them, give some tasting notes, then tell you which one I prefer and which one I think is what, and then we'll do a reveal. And starting with number one. Okay, so this has a very sort of typical bourbon nose. So sort of a dark caramel and vanilla note with a good amount of oak and a little bit of a mineral note to it. There's what I perceive as a slight peanut note, but most other people would probably say this is a dried banana note. So definitely not a banana note like a banana that you will if you peel a banana, but more like a dried banana kind of chip note. Very inviting, quite nice. All right, we'll go to number two. Okay, much more interesting. There's in addition to those types of vanilla notes, there's also a dark chocolate note here, kind of mixed with a slight sour rick house funk. Yeah, generally it comes across as more complex and brooding type of whiskey. There are very close in ABV. I believe the birthday bourbon is only 3.5 percentage points or 7 proof points more in ABV, but yeah, it's not noticeable, at least from those two. So we'll go to number three. Okay, this is even more interesting than the second one. So far I would say this was kind of the most basic nose. This was definitely a level above that, and then this one is yet another level above that. And I have to say, from familiarity, I think to me this is the 1924, because what I remember the 1924 has these very rich fruity notes that accompany the vanilla and caramel from the bourbon, and I just love that. I think, yeah, that's like really great nose. Okay, so far I think my ranking is this one, and this one, and my guess would be 1924 birthday bourbon and this single barrel. Okay, I'm gonna this time start. Yeah, I'll just go in the same order actually. Mm, that's very very nice. You know the brown sugar and vanilla notes infused with oak and baking spices. So it starts sweet, but then like as usual with most whiskeys, especially bourbons, sweetness, then mouth-watering spices, and then when they die down, it goes back to sort of the sweet and the oak. And yeah, this is like the sort of if you like bourbon, this is like will be up there with whatever else you might put next to it. I mean, it's just a really great experience. All right, let's go to the second one. So the nose is a little bit more muted than last time. Let me go back to this. Interestingly, now this one smells a little bit more intense. I wonder if, again, how my nose acclimates is kind of strange. Now this one is more muted than that one. When I first started, it was the opposite way. I'm gonna have some water, give my palate a little bit of a rest. Let's do that again. Yeah, I don't know. On this time around, the nose definitely comes across as more muted than the first one. I wonder if that's the water. I'm getting a lot more of the oaky notes in here. and there's a slight burnt orange tone in there as well. I do wonder if that's like what was caused by having drank some water. So let me drink some water and go back. Usually I don't drink water and go back and forth, but if I drink water, I feel like I should be fair and go back and forth with the water in between. So back to this. Interesting. Yeah, it was definitely different with water, but I have to say now the order of preference is definitely this one and then this one. There's more like sweet and sort of caramelly notes on this one. This one has, I would say, maybe even a little bit of citrus bitters. A little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Okay. Well, that makes it very difficult to guess which is which, but I wouldn't say one of them is necessarily like much better than the other one at this point. Let me go to the last one. That's a really, really sweet and confectionery note. I have to say, I actually think now this must be the birthday bourbon because it's just so much better than the other two on the nose that if it's not, that would be really disappointing. Yeah, it's just yeah, not comparable. All right, let's go for the palate. Oh yeah, that's a whole different ball game. There is um, there's a much more like well integrated, creamy sort of confectionery note that has a layer of sort of um, not toasted, but like charred sort of taste to it that is very, very smooth and a very, very lingering taste. Yeah, this has to be the birthday bourbon. It's very complex. I don't know how to describe it. Compared to the other two, there is no off-putting notes at all. Every note is just super creamy and nice and well integrated. And it just lingers on and on. I would be shocked and disappointed if that is not the birthday bourbon. All right, I do feel like I should do these two a little bit more justice. I will go back. This is by far the best on the nose and on the palate. It's just no contest. So whatever this is, and I hope it is the birthday bourbon for the sake of uh, Old Forester and whoever else who has this. But I do want to know between these two because I really did like the 1924, and I'd be surprised that if the 100 proof is that good, and I would kind of regret that I didn't pick up more of these because it's like basically a third of the cost of this. I think I got this for under $50 from Unwind Bottle Shop, and this is I got for like 150. So, all right, let's do one more, and I'm gonna do side by side. No, definitely the first one is preferable. This has a tinge of youthfulness to it, I feel. All right, here we go. It's nice. There's like quite a bit of oakiness in this as well, and I generally like the way it finishes. It is kind of lingering, and it is feels a little bit low proof, but sort of creamy at the same time. Yeah, this definitely has more youthful oak to it. Yeah, and more citrus notes to it. So yeah, I would say there is a clear winner for me personally. This one, I think this is not too far behind. It's definitely not like a third as good, but yeah, if okay, let's say if I gave this, let's say a 9.5 for sake of argument, then I think this to me would be more like a 8.9, and this would be more like an 8.7. So this is clearly by far the best one. All right, so let's do the reveal. What is the first one? This is number 1. All right, so this is the birthday bourbon. What the fuck? Are you serious? Okay. What is this? Number 3. So this is the single barrel, which means the 1924, which was my first guess, is number 2, and it's my favorite. That is insane. I can't believe that I like the 1924 more than the birthday bourbon, and I can't believe that I thought the birthday bourbon was not that much better than a single barrel. Let me Do the side by side by these. No, it's like no contest for me. The 1924 is by far the better. It's just so much nicer. Maybe also this is a fresh crack. That could be an excuse. That's no excuse, man. There's no contest here. This is by far the better experience. That's crazy. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm shocked and surprised at this. As grateful as I am to have tried this tonight, I'm glad that I did not make a massive trade for this or spend a whole bunch of money on secondary to get it. Thank you again for watching my episodes, and I hope to do more content. I mean, I originally said to myself that if I do 100 episodes and I haven't really monetized the channel yet and it hasn't got successful, I would give up. But this is kind of fun, and it's a good excuse to drink and not feel too bad about it. So I think I'll continue doing them. I don't know for how long, but I hope you continue watching and supporting me by watching and spreading the word. Thank you so much, and hope to see you in future episodes. Take care.